Ladies and gentlemen, life is a magnificent dance, an intricate interplay of moments that call us to pay attention. Yet, in this symphony of existence, we often lose sight of the most vital instrument ourselves. Today, let us explore the art of focusing on you every single day. Not selfishly, but mindfully, with a heart attuned to the rhythms of life. Each day is a canvas blank and waiting for you to paint upon it. Yet how often do we find ourselves absent from this moment, our thoughts scattered like leaves in the wind? We're replaying yesterday's regrets, rehearsing tomorrow's possibilities, or scrolling through a digital world that pulls us away from the life unfolding before our eyes. To be present in your own life is to reclaim the richness of this moment, to recognize that the only reality you truly have is the one happening right now. Imagine standing in a river, feeling the cool water rush past your feet. The river doesn't pause for you to analyze where it came from or predict where it's going. It simply flows, alive and immediate. Your life is that river constantly moving, and the present moment is where its energy is most alive. But to experience it, you must step out of the currents of distraction and into the stillness of awareness. This presence begins with something as simple as your breath. Take a moment to notice it. Feel the air as it enters your nostrils, fills your lungs, and leaves your body. This rhythm is life itself, a gentle reminder that you are here now. It is in this awareness that you connect with the essence of who you are, not the roles you play, the titles you hold, or the stories you tell yourself, but the vibrant being experiencing life in its purest form. When you are present, you notice the small wonders that often go unseen: the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of leaves rustling in the wind, the smile of a stranger passing by. These are not insignificant details, they are the threads that weave the fabric of your life. To be present is to savor them, to let them remind you that life's beauty lies not in grand achievements, but in the ordinary moments we often overlook. Being present also means showing up for yourself emotionally. It means allowing yourself to feel fully and without judgment. When you're sad, let the sadness flow through you without pushing it away. When you're joyful, immerse yourself in that joy without fearing it might end. Presence is not about clinging to happiness or avoiding discomfort. It's about experiencing each emotion as part of the ever-changing dance of life. And finally, to be present in your own life is to cultivate gratitude for the gift of existence itself. You are here, breathing, living, experiencing. That in itself is extraordinary. When you anchor yourself in the now, you realize that this moment is not just enough, it's everything. In a world that often celebrates conformity and rewards those who fit into predefined molds, it can be easy to forget that your uniqueness is not a flaw to be corrected, but a gift to be cherished. You are unlike anyone who has ever lived or will ever live. From the way your mind works to the rhythm of your heartbeat, you are an original, a singular expression of life's infinite creativity. To embrace your uniqueness is to honor the masterpiece that you are, to stop apologizing for the things that make you different, and instead celebrate them as your greatest strengths. Consider the natural world. No two leaves on a tree are identical. No two waves crash upon the shore in exactly the same way, and no two sunsets paint the sky with the same hues. Yet each is perfect in its own right, contributing to the beauty and diversity of the world. You are no different. The things that set you apart, the way you think, the way you laugh, the passions that ignite your soul, are the very things that make you irreplaceable. But embracing your uniqueness requires courage. It means stepping away from the need to compare yourself to others, to measure your worth by standards that were never meant to define you. It means letting go of the idea that you must fit into someone else's narrative to be valuable. You were not born to be a replica of anyone else. You were born to be you, fully and unapologetically. This journey of self-acceptance begins with curiosity. Take the time to explore who you are beneath the layers of societal expectations and self-doubt. What lights you up? What makes you lose track of time? What values resonate deeply within you? These are the clues to your authentic self, the parts of you that are most alive and true. As you uncover these facets, nurture them. Give yourself permission to grow in directions that feel natural to you, even if they defy convention or challenge the status quo. Embracing your uniqueness also means finding peace with your imperfections. Society often teaches us to hide our flaws, to present a polished version of ourselves to the world. But what if those so-called flaws are actually part of your beauty? The cracks in a vase allow light to shine through, and the imperfections in a diamond make it one of a kind. In the same way, your struggles, scars, and vulnerabilities are what make you human, relatable, and deeply real. When you embrace your uniqueness, you give others permission to do the same. Your authenticity becomes a beacon, inspiring those around you to step into their own truth. You create a ripple effect, showing that there is strength in individuality and beauty in diversity. The world doesn't need more sameness, it needs the vibrant, multifaceted brilliance that comes from people living as their truest selves. To embrace your uniqueness is to say to the world, "Here I am in all my complexity and wonder it is to walk through life with a sense of purpose and pride, knowing that you are contributing something no one else can. You are a piece of the puzzle that completes the picture of humanity, and without you it would be incomplete." So celebrate who you are, not just in moments of confidence, but especially in moments of doubt. For you are a rare and extraordinary creation, and the world is richer for having you in it. Life is a delicate dance between action and stillness, a rhythm that we often struggle to master. In a world that glorifies busyness, we are taught to measure our worth by how much we do, how fast we move, and how tirelessly we strive. Yet in our endless pursuit of accomplishment, we often forget the value of stillness, the quiet moments where life breathes, where clarity emerges, and where our deepest truths reside. To find balance between action and stillness is to honor both the drive to create and the need to simply be. Action is the force that propels us forward. It is the energy we channel into our goals, the steps we take toward building a life of purpose and meaning. Through action, we manifest our dreams, contribute to the world, and grow into the fullest versions of ourselves. But action without pause becomes mechanical. It disconnects us from the why behind our efforts and leaves us exhausted, chasing a finish line that always seems just out of reach. Stillness, on the other hand, is the space where action finds its meaning. It is the pause between notes in a symphony, the silence that gives sound its depth. In stillness, we reconnect with ourselves, tuning into the quiet whispers of intuition and the gentle nudges of our inner wisdom. It is in these moments of rest and reflection that we gain perspective, realigning our actions with our values and purpose. Stillness is not inactivity, it is the fertile ground where creativity, insight, and renewal are born. To balance action and stillness is to recognize that they are not opposites but complements, each enriching the other. Imagine a pendulum swinging back and forth. If it moves too far in one direction, it loses its rhythm and purpose. So too with our lives. When we lean too heavily into action, we risk burnout, losing touch with ourselves and the people around us. When we remain in stillness for too long, we stagnate, failing to bring our visions to life. Balance is found in the interplay, the conscious choice to honor both aspects of our nature. This balance requires mindfulness. It means listening to your body and mind, recognizing when you need to push forward and when you need to pull back. There will be days when the energy of action calls you to dive headfirst into your work, to pursue your goals with passion and determination. On those days, give yourself fully to the momentum, knowing that you are moving closer to the life you envision. But there will also be days when your soul longs for quiet, when the most productive thing you can do is rest. Honor those days too, trusting that stillness is not a retreat but a necessary part of the journey. Finding balance also means letting go of guilt. In a society that equates rest with laziness, it can be hard to allow yourself the gift of stillness without feeling unproductive. But remember, even nature rests. The tides ebb and flow, the seasons cycle between growth and dormancy, and the sun rises and sets. You too are part of this natural rhythm. By embracing both action and stillness, you align yourself with the pulse of life itself. Ultimately, balance is not a fixed state, but an ongoing practice. It is a daily choice to check in with yourself, to ask, what do I need in this moment? And to respond with kindness and intention. Some days the answer will be action, a leap of faith, a bold step forward. Other days the answer will be stillness, a moment to breathe, to reflect, to simply exist. Both are equally valuable, equally necessary. When you learn to dance between action and stillness, you create a life that is both dynamic and grounded, purposeful and peaceful. You discover that the most fulfilling life is not one of constant motion or endless repose, but one that flows seamlessly between the two, honoring the beauty of both the journey and the pause. In this balance, you find harmony not just with the world around you, but with the deepest parts of yourself. Life is a journey, and like any journey, the path is best traveled when we carry only what we truly need. Yet so many of us move through life burdened by things that no longer serve us, outdated beliefs, toxic relationships, unfulfilled expectations, and the weight of past mistakes. These burdens slow us down, cloud our vision, and keep us from fully embracing the possibilities of the present moment. To let go of what doesn't serve you is not to abandon responsibility or turn away from challenges, but to release what holds you back so that you can move forward with clarity and freedom. Letting go begins with awareness. Often we don't even realize how much we are carrying. We hold on to grudges, replay painful memories, or cling to identities that no longer reflect who we are. These things may have served a purpose once, but now they linger like heavy shadows, taking up space in our hearts and minds. To release them, we must first recognize them. This requires honesty and self-reflection, a willingness to look inward and ask, what am I holding on to and why? Sometimes we cling to things out of fear. We fear the unknown, so we hold on to familiar patterns, even when they cause us pain. We fear change, so we resist letting go of what feels safe, even if it stifles our growth. But holding on to what no longer serves you is like clutching a rope that is burning your hands. The longer you hold on, the more it hurts. Letting go is not about giving up, it's about choosing peace over pain, freedom over fear. Letting go also means forgiving not just others, but yourself. We all make mistakes, and we all have moments we wish we could undo. But carrying guilt and regret only keeps us chained to the past. Forgiveness is not about condoning harm or forgetting what happened. It is about releasing the hold that pain has over you. It is a gift you give yourself, a way of saying, I choose to move forward, unburdened by what I cannot change. Relationships are another area where letting go can be difficult but necessary. Not every relationship is meant to last forever, and that's okay. People come into our lives for different reasons and different seasons. Some uplift us, challenge us, and help us grow. Others drain us, limit us, or pull us away from our true selves. Letting go of a relationship that no longer serves you is not an act of cruelty, but an act of self-respect. It is acknowledging that you deserve connections that nurture your spirit and align with your values. Letting go also applies to the expectations we place on ourselves. We often carry the weight of perfectionism, striving to meet standards that are impossible to achieve. We judge ourselves harshly for not being enough, smart enough, successful enough, good enough. But these expectations are not truths, they are stories we tell ourselves, shaped by societal pressures and internalized doubts. To let go is to rewrite those stories, to accept yourself as you are, and to embrace the idea that you are already enough. The process of letting go is not always easy. It requires patience, courage, and a deep trust in the process of life. There may be moments of discomfort, moments when you feel the absence of what you've released and wonder if you've made the right choice. But with time, you will find that letting go creates space for new opportunities, new relationships, and new growth. It is in this space that you rediscover yourself, free from the weight of what no longer serves you. Letting go is not a one-time act, but a lifelong practice. Life is constantly changing, and with each new phase, we are called to release what we no longer need to make room for what's to come. It is a process of shedding layers, much like a tree that lets go of its leaves in autumn, trusting that spring will bring new growth. In the end, letting go is an act of love, love for yourself and love for the life you are creating. It is a declaration that you are no longer willing to carry what weighs you down, that you are ready to step into a lighter, freer, and more authentic version of yourself. It is not about loss, it is about liberation. And in that liberation, you find the courage to embrace life fully, unencumbered by the past and open to the infinite possibilities of the future. Compassion is often something we extend to others without hesitation. When a friend stumbles, we offer them understanding. When a loved one is in pain, we are quick to comfort them. Yet, when it comes to ourselves, we can be our harshest critics, holding ourselves to impossible standards and chastising ourselves for every perceived shortcoming. Cultivating compassion for yourself is not an indulgence, it is a necessity. It is the foundation of a healthy, fulfilling life and the key to unlocking your full potential. To cultivate compassion for yourself, you must first recognize your humanity. You are not a machine designed for flawless performance, nor are you meant to have all the answers. You are a human being, beautifully imperfect and wonderfully complex. This means you will make mistakes, experience failures, and face moments of doubt. These experiences are not signs of weakness, they are part of the shared human condition. When you understand this, you begin to see that your struggles do not set you apart, but connect you to everyone around you. Self-compassion starts with how you speak to yourself. The inner dialogue we carry often goes unnoticed, yet it shapes how we see ourselves and the world. If you find yourself speaking harshly, calling yourself not good enough, or a failure, pause and ask, would I say this to someone I love? If the answer is no, then it's time to rewrite that narrative. Replace judgment with kindness, criticism with encouragement, and self-doubt with gentle reassurance. Speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend, with words that uplift rather than tear down. It's also important to honor your emotions. Compassion for yourself means allowing yourself to feel without judgment. When you're sad, let yourself cry. When you're angry, give yourself permission to process that anger. When you're joyful, embrace that joy without questioning whether you deserve it. Your emotions are valid, and they are part of what makes you human. Suppressing them only creates tension within you, while acknowledging them allows you to heal and grow. Compassion for yourself also involves recognizing your limits. In a world that often glorifies overwork and hustle, it can be hard to admit when you need rest. But pushing yourself beyond your limits is not a sign of strength, it is a recipe for burnout. Listen to your body and mind. When they tell you to slow down, honor that request. Rest is not a weakness, it is a form of self-respect. It is an acknowledgement that you are worthy of care, even from yourself. Forgiveness is another cornerstone of self-compassion. We all carry regrets, things we wish we had done differently, words we wish we hadn't said, opportunities we wish we had seized. But holding on to these regrets only weighs you down. Forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made. Understand that you were doing the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. Forgiveness is not about erasing the past, it is about freeing yourself from its grip, so that you can move forward with a lighter heart. Cultivating compassion for yourself also means celebrating your victories, no matter how small they may seem. Too often we focus on what we haven't accomplished, overlooking the progress we've made. Take time to acknowledge your efforts, your resilience, and your growth. Celebrate the fact that you've made it through challenges you once thought you couldn't face. These moments of self-recognition are acts of kindness that remind you of your strength and worth. This journey of self-compassion is not always easy. It requires patience and practice, especially if you've spent years being hard on yourself. but every small act of kindness you extend to yourself adds up. Over time, it becomes a habit, a way of being that feels as natural as breathing. When you cultivate compassion for yourself, you also create space for deeper connections with others. By understanding your own standing, your own struggles and imperfections, you become more empathetic toward the struggles and imperfections of those around you. Self-compassion is not selfish, it is the foundation of all compassion. When your cup is full, you have more to give to the world. Ultimately, cultivating compassion for yourself is an act of love. It is a declaration that you are worthy not because of what you achieve or how perfectly you perform, but simply because you exist. It is choosing to treat yourself with the kindness and care that you deserve every single day. And in doing so, you open the door to a life that is not only more fulfilling, but also more aligned with the truth of who you are. To focus on you every day is not an act of selfishness, but a profound acknowledgement of your role in the tapestry of existence. As you nurture yourself, you illuminate the world around you. So step into your life with presence, embrace your essence, and move forward with grace. The universe has chosen you to be here now. Honor that choice by being fully, unapologetically yourself. Thank you.
There is no things go round and round and never come out. Now, which haunt our minds. We say, for example, that we all have an instinct to survive. And a lot of people thus treat the problem of life as, how am I to survive? And one might almost be a little cautious about relieving people of this problem, lest they should lose the impetus to go on doing their work. But that also, impetus to go on doing your work, is another ghost. We think we are driven, you see. We think that what we do has these mysterious things behind it. See, it's very important simply to keep your eye on what is being done and to describe that. And if you describe it clearly enough and well enough, you will probably find that the ghost of instinct disappeared. Thus, you see, when we talk about an instinct for survival, what is this saying? What is the evidence for the fact that there is an instinct for survival? There is no evidence except that, in fact, people survive until they don't. And this is rather odd, because what happens to the instinct for survival when people don't survive? So, in this way, and as I've often said, we are so bugged by the notion of stuff, you see, stuff acting, stuff doing things. But all that is, you see, is that the world strikes us as being material until we examine it closely. In other words, a distant nebula in the heavens looks like a solid star until you turn a giant telescope on it and you make out the clear pattern of a spiral nebula. In other words, the concept of stuff is a sensation that we get when we haven't examined things sufficiently closely, or when our instruments are not fine enough to penetrate what we're observing. But when the instruments are fine enough, what we get instead is pattern, and pattern is simply a form of behavior, of activity. Consider this in another way. Let's go back to the human organism and ask the question, well, what about its shape? How is it that a human organism is contained? All the organs are kept in by the skin. Well, we will describe, of course, the structure of skin. Now, so the question arises, what is keeping the organism in shape? And we find out that it is not only what is going on inside the skin that keeps it in shape, but also what's going on outside the skin. And when we go on to describe this still more carefully, we discover that it isn't quite correct to say that it is the air that is doing this, or that it is the organism that is doing this. We begin to describe instead what Dewey and Bentley, in their very fascinating book, Knowing and the Known, call a transaction. Now, that is to say, a buyer can't buy unless somebody is also selling. You can't know anything unless there's something to know. And this fact, you see, is constantly overlooked, that any with everything else. A human being, of course, has ever so many relationships. They're very complicated. A person, say, we call a dog, instead of speaking, as it were, in this terminology of doers and done-tos, attackers and victims, we simplify things considerably. Just by confining ourselves to a description of what is happening. And as we do this, we get a peculiarly clarified picture of the world, without all sorts of go. In other words, not a contest between ourselves and our environment. This conception of life turns out to be basically phony.